We finally have some rookies that are back and actually pickable, I would say, or selectable without much flaws in their game or flaws in terms of their projected price rises for the next couple of weeks, which will really help us get some cash gen and just some fieldable scores, I feel like, especially as we enter round 15 and 16 are some of the worst buy rounds. And then on top of that, we have some mid prices that are actually really, really good underlying numbers. And that should really help us out as well. And then we have some primos that are tumbling. And if they get a change in their role, Zach Merritt back to his best, or just in general avoid the tags for the next little bit, they will be back to their best and top of the line type of guys that we are getting for 500k also. But anyway, let's quickly jump into this video here. For those that have watched the fantasy, I'm probably going to keep this one a little bit quicker for those for SuperCoach just for time purposes. But I've also done a massive review on the fantasy side of it. But yeah, Zach Johnson, he's an obvious selection. Like, he's the obvious rookie. Campbell Gray's out with a knee injury. Oscar McDonald's not going to get selected. Lucas Camparelli's getting outperformed by his brother. Tyrell Dua, it feels like is 1 week away from just like, not really scoring well. I don't know. What's his what did he score last week? That he scored a 90. We're going based off one game basically. Like, I just don't like that, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't touch that. Will Lorenz has played one game and doesn't look like he's coming back. Isaac Keeler, he's coming off the bye as well and he's playing forward now again. So I just wouldn't touch that. Nick Madden, played one game, so no. James Hunter, we haven't seen in a while. Cochrane's on the long-term injury list. Harry Boyd's not playing already. Should probably get him off the captaincy. I'll do that in a second because they play first game of the round. So yeah, we'll have to find another way to loop. But yeah, that should be easy anyway. Will Haynes is on bye. Erasmus played 6. El Hooley's injured. Hayes is injured. Hudson O'Keefe's played 1. Angus Clark's already played his 3. And he still has a negative break even, showing how well he's played. And then Hugh Jackson on a -10. So his nearest challenger, realistically, are these two in Clark and Hugh Jackson. And they're all the way back 55 points behind. 55 points behind and 6k behind for Hugh Jackson, and a good 60k behind for Clark. So that's why Jackson is the most obvious one. He is a layup pick. A midfielder, so you do have to put him in the midfield, which shouldn't be too hard because I have like tons and tons of forwards. So it shouldn't be too hard there alongside all the injuries and all that, and buy players, etc. So it shouldn't be too hard to get him on field. You just play him on field and he'll be your 23rd guy, I feel like. As we've got Angus Clark as well there. Him and Angus Clark will be your 22nd and 23rd guy. And then you probably have 1 or 2 more rookies and aside on field, I would say. And then aside from that, you basically got your 16, 17, 18 primos at least, if not more. And then probably a mid-pricer or 2. And that's how your game is basically played out. But yeah, I think that Zach Johnson is just the obvious one. And then if you already have him, I would say go to the likes of a Hugh Jackson. Clay Hall, we don't expect back this week. I've also received sort of word that we're expecting potentially the return of Henry Huswaite. So if you have him, don't trade him. But I mean, by the time that you see the team sheets, you'll be able to untrade him. It feels like you'd have enough time there, because it looks like Henry Huswaite is going to be playing, which should be good for those holders. And then there's basically no one else that I would touch with a 10-foot pole here, because they're all on one game, or on the bye, or haven't played in 10 weeks. Unless you're Darcy Fort somehow just smashing it out. I don't know. He started at 190k, and I wish we'd actually almost gone there with him, because yeah, he's sort of that guy that you should have gone instead of the likes of a Matt Flynn for some case scenario. But anyway, we now enter the coach's choice, and this doesn't include me anymore because I'm shocking. But anyway, let's go to the round change. Zach Johnson, 57%. Zach Butters, I've actually not undo my trades, I don't think. Let's just get rid of them. Here we go. There we go. There'll probably be different trades now that I showed that, because I also showed that I don't probably want Zach Butters, which is kind of scary to say when he's got a 90 break even, was it? 90 break even against Melbourne. That's rough to say that you don't want him when he's got that. But yeah, I might go against Zach Butters, which will be terrifying against Melbourne. So I hope Melbourne keep him down. But yeah, you've got Zach Johnson there, big trade-in, big obvious one. Zach Butters as well. I think the numbers suggest that he should be all right, but he shouldn't be outstanding. So I might go for someone else. Maybe like a Jackson if I have enough cash. I don't know though if I do. I probably won't. And he's 619k, so I might have to go somewhere else. We'll see where I go with that. I could even go, yeah, I might. There's definitely options here where I might even take on like a Colby McKercher and just try and hope that he gets in a really good role and I can go there. I might even just go back to a TDK who's got the West Coast matchup and then in a week's time go to change out Max Gawn. I might actually go to TDK just given the matchup he's got. Like he should be able to go. If we go here, like this is why I'm saying I might go TDK over a if we go this one here. I think it's this one. Let me just not that one. Maybe it's the season long DVP. This one. If I go to Rux and I go here on out and I go to this, you got Geelong, Sydney, Freo, Carlton plus 1.49. He's got the North Melbourne matchup, which is bad, and then the Brisbane and Melbourne matchups, and then the Gold Coast matchup in between. But yeah, he's still got a plus 1.49. I don't know whether that's fancy or Supercoach, but if we look at TDK in the long run, he's averaging 115, I want to say, somewhere around that marker, 113.5. He was averaging 120 before he came up against. He still scored 100 again in that North Melbourne matchup. And then he had that Adelaide matchup for an 80. If we look here at Carlton, they have no Adelaide matchup again, which should dramatically help because Adelaide is the tough one. Has he played the Gold Coast yet? Hasn't played Gold Coast yet, so we don't really have a measure on that yardstick. Played GWS for an 80, which was horrific. But yeah, I have a feeling that he's going to be a guy that goes sort of that 125, I would say, 120 for the rest of the season, just because he's got some absolute gold matchups. He's got the plus 30 matchup. Like if we genuinely look at this, he's got that West Coast matchup, which is plus 30, I think, from memory, but it might be down a lot more now that West Coast held in, was it Sherry? Port Adelaide, easy matchup, and then West Coast, easy matchup, and then GWS. He somehow sucked it against GWS. Surprising, but he did. But he Port Adelaide and also West Coast. And he's got those two in the next 3 weeks. I just don't see how he doesn't go sort of 120 in a lot of these games. So that's why I think Tom De Koning's almost a better pick than Zach Butters, which sounds crazy. But yeah, I think that is the case. He's got a 91 break even, is cheaper, and I think he's got an easier matchup. The next 3, I think he beats Zach Butters by 70 odd points the next 3 games, which could be huge. So that's why I'll look at Tom De Koning. It doesn't give me the flexibility that I probably want, but at the same time, it's a guy that, yeah, it doesn't give me flexibility potentially for the year anymore, but at the same time, it's like you're trading in a guy that can score 120. You're trading in a guy who's potentially top 10 also. Wingney Malira, understand that off the buy. And then Caleb Daniel, even Connor Rosie, I understand people trading him in. I will probably look to trade him in as my last primo, potentially. That is what I'm looking at as a potential mid forward, him and Callum Mills, etc. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at there. Bailey Dale, understand that. Tom Stewart as well, 455k, 55 break even. I know I just want more data. Like he's gone 98, 103, 111. It just sucks that he's on the round 16. If he wasn't, you'd probably even look at that. And then you got Doherty as well, who's probably a layup pick as well that I will be looking and exploring. And then Nick Martin, Tom Green. Yep, understand those two. Probably need to get Nick Martin in somehow, which basically I decided to go against Nick Martin and go for the likes of Zach Merritt. And he's gone and put on 100 on Zach Merritt in 3 weeks. And at that point also gained 80 odd K and made it almost impossible to get. So I wish I'd gone Nick Martin in the end. It would have made my forward line a little bit better, I feel like. And yeah, it would have made it a lot easier. to maneuver because he's got that really good positioning in that defender forward position. Tom Green, just the buy really stinks. Bontempelli, he scored, what did he score against the likes of Hawthorn? A 100. So he's got a 164 break even, obviously playing a really easy matchup in the next couple. So yeah, he's probably going to be hard to get below sort of that that 600 range, but we just hope he pulls out 100 here, because if he just does, look at the scoring here. If he can just pull out one more ton, we are just saying like one more ton. If we just go here and show you this, look at this. If he pulls out another ton, he gets to 602, and then he pulls out even a 130 plus potentially against Richmond. This is like best case scenario. We get him for 590k against Sydney, which it should still be able to go sort of 130 against. Like, I just feel like he's a guy that we can potentially get for 590k best case scenario. But worst case scenario is something like probably worst case scenario is actually him doing this. Probably, I'd say. Worst case scenario is him getting down to a low of sort of 615, 620k and not really gettable, because you want in round 15, you're gonna want Mills in round 15. Like, there's no questions asked, so you can't really get him there, which means you're paying now 636k for Bont. So we're hoping he pulls 100 out of somewhere. Petrarca, Dawson, understand that. Butler as well, I think we can wait another week on Butler. When does he have the bye? Hopefully, please be round 15. Please be round 15. Yes. That makes it so much easier. You do not know how much easier that makes it, because he's on his bye. He'll be on the bubble. That makes it so much easier. He'll be the easiest selection if he gets selected post-bye, because you don't have to worry about the bye. He'll be on the bubble. He'll be a forward at 126k that scored a 55. I know it's only a 55, but he's a rookie that played. That is how much better this is. And he played against Western Bulldogs. He'll have Adelaide. Hopefully he can score 60 there. But if he's playing a non-sub against North Melbourne, he might go 80 there in that game. And you can honestly get a potential loop very easily there. So that's why he's so good. Madden probably won't get to the 3. And that's pretty much it for the players that are changing out, or that people are changing out. Xavier Lindsay, yep. Levi Ashcroft, yep. Campbell Gray's injured, yep. Henry Hustwaite down 9.2%. I'd hold there. I'd wait. Matty Roberts on the bye. Yep. Matty Carroll. He's probably one that will go for me, I think, unless I can. I might actually hold just based on how I can get to my players. Get to TDK and Doc and Johnson, basically, and then Moraes, Long, etc. Understand that these are all very understandable, except for Hustwaite, given the news that I've got. But anyway, that is the video there, going through all these SuperCoach trade targets. A lot shorter than the fantasy version, because I go more in depth in the fantasy. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and I will see you guys in my team previews or team reveals for round 14 later. Bye, guys.